Crystal chandeliers shimmer overhead as I step into Diamond Bridal, the premier wedding boutique in Cherry Creek. The air smells like champagne and money, mostly my money. I smooth my sensible gray blazer, out of place among the glittering tulle and satin surrounding me. Through the forest of mannequins draped in luxury, I spot my sister. Maddie stands on a small pedestal, a vision in white. The gown hugs her figure before cascading to the floor in a waterfall of hand-beaded lace that probably costs more than my car. 5 of her bridesmaids circle her like planets around a sun, cooing and sighing at appropriate intervals. Mom dabs at her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief, while simultaneously capturing the moment for Maddie's Instagram followers. I approach slowly, carrying the vintage lace veil I spent weeks tracking down. It belonged to a countess from the 1922. Something borrowed, something old, and the perfect complement to Maddie's dress. This might complement the dress, I say, holding it up to catch the light. Maddie's radiant smile vanishes like a light switch flipped off. She turns sharply, eyes narrowing. "You're ruining my moment," she hisses. Her palm connects with my cheek with a crack that silences the entire boutique. "Get out. Now." The slap echoes in the sudden quiet. Even the champagne flutes seem to hold their breath. My cheek burns, and I know a red handprint is forming. The sales associates freeze in place, eyes darting between us. One of them studies her manicure with sudden fascination. Mom looks away, pretending to adjust her pearl earring. No one moves to defend me. No one speaks. I carefully place the veil on a nearby chair, turn, and walk toward the door. My heels click against the marble floor, each step amplifying the humiliation burning through me. 2 years ago, Dad had his stroke. I remember the hospital waiting room, the smell of industrial cleaner, and Mom's tear-streaked face. "The medical bills," she whispered. "The mortgage. I don't know what we're going to do." "I'll help," I promised, meaning a few months of support while Dad recovered. But months stretched into years. I covered the mortgage, the medical bills, the groceries. The pattern established itself with quiet persistence. Allison provides, family takes. I became the family ATM, dispensing funds with a smile while my own savings withered. Then came Maddie's engagement to Ethan Brooks. I still remember her flippant mention over Sunday dinner. "Ethan's family can't afford much for the wedding," she said, examining her fresh manicure. "They're, middle class. I'll help with some expenses," I offered, picturing a modest ceremony at the country club. My fatal mistake. Those 5 words transformed into a financial avalanche: $60,000 venue, $24,000 catering, $38,000 decor. Before I knew what happened, I'd committed to financing a $185,000 extravaganza. No gratitude followed. Only increasing demands, delivered with Maddie's trademark entitlement. The photographer wants another $5,000. The flowers have to be peonies, even though they're out of season. Always with the unspoken expectation, "You'll take care of it, Allie. You always do." Outside the boutique, I sink into the driver's seat of my sedan. The car I kept instead of upgrading because family needs come first. The leather seat is cracked on one side. I've had this car since college, patching and maintaining it while Maddie drives a new Audi I helped finance. My hands tremble slightly as I open the banking app on my phone. The shared credit card Maddie uses to finance her princess fantasy glows on the screen. My stomach tightens as a text notification appears. "They need your card for the $18,950 dress. Hurry back." I stare at the number. $18,000 for a dress she'll wear once. I think of my apartment with the leaking faucet I can't afford to fix. The retirement account I've neglected. The vacation I haven't taken in 3 years. I take a deep breath. My finger hovers over the freeze card button. Memories flash through my mind: every thank you never said, every sacrifice never acknowledged, every time I made myself smaller so Maddie could shine brighter. I press the button. The app confirms with a cheerful ping: "Card frozen." Seconds later, another notification appears: "Transaction declined." For the first time in months, I smile. A genuine smile that reaches my eyes and loosens something tight in my chest. I start the engine and pull away from the curb, leaving behind the boutique and the expectations that have defined me for too long. As Denver's skyline appears in my rearview mirror, I realize I've just taken my first real stand. The realization terrifies and thrills me in equal measure. I'm done being the family ATM. Later that night, After the incident, the blue glow of my laptop screen illuminates my apartment as midnight approaches. I've created a new spreadsheet not for work this time, but for my own sanity. Column by column, I document every penny siphoned from my accounts for Maddie's fairy tale wedding. My accounting skills, usually reserved for corporate clients, now track a different kind of deficit. Venue, Cherry Blossom Resort. I type, the keys clicking like tiny hammers. $60,000. My stomach clenches. That's more than my annual mortgage would be if I could afford to buy instead of rent. Catering, Platinum Palette. Another entry, $24,000. That's a year of student loan payments I've delayed to finance Maddie's champagne fountain and lobster appetizers. Decor, Stellar Events, the largest gut punch. $38,000. For flowers that will wilt in hours, and custom lighting that no one will remember a month later. I pause, fingers hovering over the keyboard, and reach for a half-empty wine glass. The cheap Merlot, because God forbid I splurge on myself, burns slightly as I swallow. My inbox pings. An email from Ethan to Maddie, accidentally copied to me. I click it open. My parents are so grateful your parents are covering everything. Dad keeps saying how generous Richard and Nancy are. The wine turns to acid in my stomach. I scroll up to see Maddie's previous message. Don't worry about the costs. My parents are covering everything. My parents? Our father can barely cover his heart medication. I open another tab and log into my joint account with Maddie, the one I foolishly created to help with wedding expenses. The transaction history reveals a digital breadcrumb trail of betrayal. Maddie told Ethan's family one story, while telling me another. Another ping. A text from Maddie to her maid of honor, forwarded by cousin Emily with a simple message. You should see this. Big sis is such a pushover. Might upgrade to the swan ice sculpture too. She never says no, lol. The screen blurs as my eyes fill. Not with tears, with rage so pure it burns. I blink it back and continue tallying. The final number glares back at me in bold red font. $185,000. The amount I've spent on a wedding that isn't mine. Money that should have gone to my retirement. A home down payment. Perhaps even a vacation, my first in 3 years. My phone rings. My mother's name flashes on the screen. Allison, what have you done? Her voice trembles with manufactured outrage. Your sister is absolutely devastated. Mom, you've always been the responsible one, Allison. Your sister deserves her special day. Why would you embarrass her like this? I press my fingertips against my closed eyelids. Did you know the wedding costs $185,000 so far? A pause. Too long to be innocent. Well, these things add up. Did you know Maddie told Ethan's family that you and Dad are paying for everything? Another pause. I'm sure she just didn't want them to feel bad. Of course. Another excuse. Another reason why Maddie's feelings matter more than the truth. More than my bank account. More than me. My other line beeps. Sarah from work. I switch calls gratefully. Hey, you okay? You seemed off today. Sarah says. Just family stuff. My voice sounds hollow even to my own ears. Anything I can help with? Before I can answer, my phone beeps again. Rebecca, my college roommate who passed the bar last year. Sarah, can I call you back? I switch lines again. Rebecca? Got your text. Yes, gifts are legally different from loans. Without a written agreement, the money is considered a gift, but you can stop any further payments. My phone buzzes with another call. The venue manager, according to caller ID. I let it go to voicemail. What if the contracts are in my name? I ask Rebecca. Then you have every right to cancel them. Look, Ali, this isn't just about money. This is financial abuse. The words land like a physical blow. Abuse. Such an ugly, accurate word. My phone pings again. A text from Ethan. Just heard about some reimbursement arrangement? Can we talk? Then immediately after, from Maddie. You're jailous because no man wants to marry you. The family group chat explodes with notifications. Aunt Linda saying I should be ashamed. Uncle Robert suggesting I've always been selfish. Cousin Mark asking if I'm having a mental breakdown. Dad's voicemail follows. We raised you better than this, Allison. Family comes first. But when did I stop being family? When did I become just an ATM? I silence my phone and turn to my laptop. With steady hands steadier than they've been in months, I drafted an email to the venue explaining my withdrawal from the contract. That will be the first email they will see in the morning. The next morning, I called the catering company. This is Allison Ward. I need to remove myself from the Brooks Ward wedding contract. One by one, I disentangle myself from Maddie's extravaganza. I change passwords on all financial accounts. I block Maddie's access to the shared credit card. With each action, the vice around my chest loosens slightly. Finally, I compose one text to the family group chat. I've paid $185,000 already. Not one more dollar. I press send and silence the chat. The apartment falls quiet except for the hum of my refrigerator, the same model I had in college because upgrading seemed selfish when Maddie needed bridesmaid proposal boxes. I curl up on my couch, a strange mixture of relief and grief washing over me. The relief feels like freedom. The grief feels like loss. But for the first time in years, both feelings are genuinely mine. 3 days later, I went to the family dinner as requested. My parents' dining room hasn't changed since 1994, same oak table with the scratch from when Maddie threw a fork during her terrible twos, same floral wallpaper Mom refuses to replace. Tonight, the familiar setting becomes a battlefield. You've ruined everything. Maddie's voice wobbles as she dabs her eyes with Mom's monogrammed handkerchief. The same one from the boutique, my dream wedding. I grip my water glass tighter. 3 days since I froze the credit card, and they've summoned me here for what they're calling a family discussion. What it actually is? An ambush. Sweetheart, we just need to get back on track. Mom slides a wedding magazine across the table. The cover features a bride in a dress even more expensive than the one Maddie wanted. Look at these centerpieces. They're almost as nice as the ones we picked. Dad clears his throat. Allie, I know money is tight for everyone. My heart medication just went up $30. He pauses meaningfully. But family comes first. The subtext hangs heavy in the air. My family obligations versus his heart condition. A skilled checkmate move. Ethan's parents are asking questions, Maddie says, voice hardening. About the money. About why deposits are suddenly missing. My chest tightens at the mention of Ethan. Does he know how much I've already spent? Does he know about Maddie's lies? Cousin Margaret called me crying yesterday, Mom adds. She was so looking forward to the caviar station. I take a sip of water, buying time. My phone buzzes the 5th call today from an extended family member expressing concern. I have an appointment tomorrow, I say finally, pushing away from the table. I need to go. An appointment? Dad's eyebrows shoot up. More important than family? Yes, I think. More important than being bled dry. Financial advisor, I say, grabbing my purse. Good night. Behind me, Maddie's theatrical sobs resume. The next morning, the coffee shop near my office has terrible lighting but excellent privacy. Janet Kim, my financial advisor, slides the paperwork across the table. 3 new accounts, she explains, completely separate from anything your sister could access, even tangentially. I sign where indicated, feeling the weight lift from my shoulders with each stroke of the pen. Do you have documentation of all wedding expenses? Janet asks. I pat my leather portfolio. Every receipt, every email confirmation, every text message about costs, organized by vendor, date, and payment method. Janet smiles. Your accounting skills are serving you well. For once, they are. The same precision I bring to balancing Mitchell and Parsons' corporate accounts is now my armor. I've drafted a letter to Ethan and his parents. I tell her, pulling out a printed document. Explaining the financial reality. Do you think it's too detailed? Janet reads it carefully. It's perfect. Clear, factual, unemotional. You're handling this with remarkable composure, Allison. Allison. Am I? Inside, my stomach churns with acid. But something new stirs beneath the anxiety, a quiet confidence I barely recognize. Sunday morning finds me sliding into the back pew at First Presbyterian. I'm 20 minutes early to avoid family interaction, but fate has other plans. There she is, Maddie's voice rings out across the sanctuary. She stands with Mrs. Patterson and the church choir director, pointing directly at me. We had to downsize the wedding because of Allison. Heads turn. Whispers ripple through the congregation. Pastor Jim approaches, concern etching his forehead. Perhaps we should step into my office? I follow him woodenly, Maddie and Mom trailing behind like vultures closing in on wounded prey. The pastor's office smells of coffee and old books. He settles behind his desk while we take the 3 visitor chairs. Maddie tells me there's been a family disagreement about wedding expenses. He begins gently. Disagreement? Maddie scoffs. She promised to help, then pulled out everything at the last minute. The venue might cancel. I unzip my portfolio without a word and place the first document on Pastor Jim's desk. This is a spreadsheet of all wedding expenses to date. I lay down another paper. These are text messages from Maddie requesting additional funds. One by one, I present the evidence receipts, emails, bank statements, creating a paper trail of exploitation. $185,000. Pastor Jim reads aloud, adjusting his glasses. This is the total you've contributed? Mom snatches the paper. That can't be right. Her eyes widen as she scans the numbers. Maddie, you said it was around 40,000. Maddie's performance falters. She opens her mouth, closes it, then tries again. Allie offered. She said she'd help. Help, I repeat, not bankrupt myself. Pastor Jim removes his glasses and pinches the bridge of his nose. Generosity should never lead to exploitation. His words fall into the room like stones in still water, even within families. Especially within families. My phone rings that evening as I'm heating soup for dinner. Rebecca's name appears on screen. How'd it go with the pastor? She asks without preamble. About as well as expected, Maddie cried. Mom looked shocked about the total. You need a break from them, Rebecca says. My spare room is yours if you want it, no questions asked. Her offer brings unexpected tears to my eyes. Thanks, I'll keep it in mind. After we hang up, another call comes through. Sarah from work. You've seemed stressed lately, she says. Some of us were thinking you should take that vacation time you've been banking. Go somewhere nice with all the money you're saving from not funding the wedding of the century. The office sent a card, I discover Monday morning, signed by everyone, even grumpy Walter from accounts receivable. Hang in there, written in a dozen different handwritings. That evening at my cousin Emily's birthday dinner, the topic of Maddie's wedding inevitably arises. Apparently the swan ice sculpture is off the table. Aunt Patricia sniffs. Emily, never one for conflict, surprises everyone by setting down her fork with a clatter. Has anyone actually thanked Allison? She asks, looking around the table. For everything she's done? Silence falls. Forks pause midair. The absence of an answer is answer enough. My phone rings Tuesday afternoon. Ethan's name flashes on screen, sending my heart into my throat. Can we meet privately? He asks, voice strained. We choose a coffee shop across town, neutral territory. He arrives looking like he hasn't slept, hair disheveled, eyes shadowed. I saw the financial records, he says after ordering plain black coffee. Maddie told me your parents were covering the costs. I slide the folder across the table. They weren't. I was. He pages through the documents, face paling. She told my parents there was a reimbursement plan in place, that we'd pay your family back after the honeymoon. No such plan existed. The words hurt less than they should. Ethan closes the folder, hands shaking slightly. I can't. We can't move forward like this. Not with this level of dishonesty. I understand. He meets my eyes directly. We're postponing the wedding, indefinitely, until we have an honest financial discussion. He stands, then pauses. Thank you for your generosity, Allison. It wasn't fair to you. Alone in my apartment that night, the tears finally come. Not for the money, though, that loss stings, but for the years I've spent making myself small. For the sister I thought I had. For the parents who never saw me. I pull out a journal untouched since college and write, I've been making myself small my whole life. The realization crashes over me like a wave. My financial support enabled their dysfunction. They never had to grow up because I was always there to catch them. On my nightstand sits a photo I haven't looked at in years, 8-year-old me with missing front teeth and unguarded smile. Before I became the family fixer. Before I learned to shrink. I text Rebecca. I think I'm finally choosing myself. The next morning, I draft emails to the remaining vendors, explaining the situation in clear, unemotional language. Rebecca reviews them over lunch, suggesting small changes to protect me legally. You need a timeline, she advises. Document every manipulation, every guilt trip. It's not just about the money anymore. She's right. It's about boundaries, about the person I want to be going forward. My phone rings at midnight, jarring me from the first peaceful sleep I've had in weeks. Ethan called off the wedding, Maddie's voice, choked with sobs. He says he can't trust me. You ruined everything. I pressed the phone closer to my ear. No, Maddie. The truth did. There's a scuffle, and then Mom's voice cuts through. You need to fix this immediately. My finger hovers over the red end call button. In the glow of the screen, I see the choice before me with perfect clarity. 2 days later, the morning sun slants through the windows of Denny's, casting long rectangles across the tabletop. I arrive 20 minutes early, sliding into a corner booth with my burgundy binder. The vinyl seat squeaks beneath me. I smooth my gray pencil skirt, then check my watch, a $30 Timex that keeps better time than the designer watches Maddie cycles through. More coffee, hun. The waitress, silver-haired with kind eyes, holds the pot aloft. Please. My voice sounds steadier than I feel. The coffee burns black and bitter, but I welcome the heat. It fortifies me for what's coming. I open the binder, triple-checking the tabs. Venue receipts, catering invoices, florist estimates. My financial withdrawal statement, printed on Mitchell & Parsons' letterhead. $238,000. The number still stuns me, even now. The bell above the door jingles. My mother enters first, her pearl earrings catching the light. Then Maddie, sunglasses perched on her head despite the overcast day. Behind them walks a woman I recognize from Ethan's Facebook photos, Barbara Brooks, his mother. My heart pounds harder. They've brought reinforcements. Table for 3, Mom tells the hostess, pretending not to see me. I raise my hand. We're meeting here. Barbara looks between them, confusion flickering across her face. She's a tall woman with Ethan's sandy hair, wearing a simple cardigan and slacks. Nothing like the designer outfit my sister sports. Allison. Mom slides in first, her smile tight. Barbara wanted to join us. I hope that's acceptable. Of course. I extend my hand to Barbara. I'm Allison Ward. It's nice to finally meet you. Her handshake is firm. Likewise. Maddie sniffles dramatically, dabbing at dry eyes. We can still save the wedding, Allie. That's why we're all here. Mom leans forward, voice dropping. Your father's blood pressure spiked to 190 over 1 to 10 last night. The doctor called it dangerous. He's worried about another stroke. The guilt lands like a punch. Then I remember Dad's cardiologist doesn't make evening house calls. I turn to Barbara. Did Maddie tell you I was being reimbursed for wedding expenses? Barbara blinks. Well, yes. Ethan mentioned you were fronting costs until after the honeymoon, when they'd pay you back from gift money and their savings. I see. I slide the binder toward her. This contains every expense I've paid so far. $185,000 total. I was never told about any reimbursement plan. Barbara's eyes widen as she flips through pages. 100 and... She stops at the venue invoice. I was told it was far less than that. Oh my God, I did not know. You're trying to turn Ethan's family against me. Maddie's voice rises sharply. Several heads turn our way. Mom grips my wrist. If you go through with this, I'll tell everyone how you abandoned us. Cousin Jeffrey, Aunt Susan, they'll all know what you did. The diner has grown quiet. A man with silver-rimmed glasses stares openly from the counter. Barbara closes the binder with a snap. Her face has drained of color. I think our families need to talk privately. She stands, shoulders squared. Not now, Maddie. She adds firmly when my sister attempts to follow. The bell jingles again. Rebecca strides in, briefcase in hand, right on schedule. My phone buzzes with Sarah's text. Standing tall. Proud of you. This is Rebecca Hamilton, I say. She's helping me sort through the legal aspects of gifts versus loans. Barbara nods curtly. I think that's wise. She turns to my mother. Nancy, we'll be in touch about the shared expenses. There appears to be some discrepancy in our understanding. After they leave, Maddie's mask slips. You've ruined everything. She hisses. No, I close the binder. I will not discuss finances further after today. I've paid enough. My phone rings that evening as I'm heating leftover pasta. Ethan's name flashes on the screen. "The wedding's off," he says without preamble. "I can't start a marriage built on lies." I sink into a kitchen chair. "I'm sorry." "Don't be. Barbara showed me everything." His voice catches. "Thank you for your honesty." My email pings with a notification from the venue confirming cancellation. Partial refunds pending. Dad calls next. His voice sounds older, deflated. "We need to talk about what really happened, Allison." For the first time in years, he sounds like my father, instead of Maddie's. A text from Barbara appears. "Thank you for your honesty. We had no idea." Later that night, Mom calls. Through tears, she tells me Maddie hasn't stopped crying for hours. She's having a complete breakdown. "You need to help." I watch moonlight cast shadows across my apartment walls. For 28 years, that phrase, "you need to help," has been my marching orders. But tonight, the words fall hollow. On social media, Maddie's angry posts about betrayal disappear one by one. Friends who initially rallied to her defense have gone silent as rumors spread about the true cost of her dream wedding. My phone buzzes with a message from Dad. I feel like I've been used. Another buzz. A family friend. "Just heard what happened. You okay, kid?" I set the phone face down on the coffee table and breathe deeply. The apartment feels different tonight. Quieter, but not empty. Like the space has been waiting for me to finally occupy it fully. For the first time since that slap at Diamond Bridal, my cheek doesn't burn with the memory. Instead, I feel a curious lightness spreading through my chest, the weight of $185,000 lifting from my shoulders, dollar by dollar. This isn't revenge, it's reclamation. 2 days after the incident, the glass doors of Mitchell and Parsons slide open with a soft whoosh as Maddie barrels through them, her designer sunglasses askew and mascara artfully smudged beneath her eyes. The reception area falls silent as heads turn. I freeze behind my desk, the spreadsheet forgotten on my monitor. "Allie, please," she wails, loud enough for the entire accounting floor to hear. "Everything is falling apart." My coworker Sarah shoots me a knowing glance. I've told her enough about the wedding drama for her to recognize this performance. Maddie drops into the visitor chair across from me, shoulders heaving with theatrical sobs. Her hair is deliberately disheveled, but her manicure remains perfect. "I can pay everything back someday," she whispers, leaning forward. "Just help me, this one last time." I keep my voice steady. The answer is still no, Maddie. My phone buzzes with an incoming call from my mother, the third today. I silence it without looking. "I've already spoken with Mr. Peterson," I say. Maddie's eyes widen. "You called my boss?" "No, mine. I warned him you might try to create a scene at the office." The calculated tears vanish. Maddie's eyes narrow to slits. "You think you're so clever." She storms out, leaving the scent of her expensive perfume lingering in the air. 4 minutes later, my office phone rings. "Allison, it's Nancy again. Your father's heart problems are getting worse from all this stress you're causing." I close my eyes, pulse quickening. "Dad's cardiologist said his heart is fine, Mom." Well, this situation is changing that. My phone pings with notifications. I glance down to see the group text from Maddie's bridesmaids. Amanda's message sits at the top. "Real sisters support each other no matter what." Below it, a Facebook notification. Uncle Frank has shared a post. "Family is all we have in the end. Remember that, Allison." The coordinated attack continues through dinner and into the evening. I silence my phone but can't silence the doubts crawling through my mind. A knock at my apartment door startles me. Through the peephole, I see Ethan shifting uncomfortably in the hallway. "Can we talk?" he asks when I open the door. His presence in my living room feels strange. He perches on the edge of the sofa, hands clasped between his knees. "Maddie says she'll change," he says quietly, "that this was all a misunderstanding." "Did she tell you about the swan eye sculpture she ordered last week? Another $8,000. He winces. "She promised she's done with the extravagance. She promised you my parents were paying for everything too." Ethan stares at the floor. "I love her, Allison." For a moment, doubt creeps in. Would it be easier to give in just this once? End the drama? Preserve the family peace? I pull out my financial records. The numbers don't lie. Another $20,000 would drain my emergency fund completely. I can't do it anymore, Ethan. After he leaves, I lie awake until 3, stomach churning with anxiety. What if this ruptures the family permanently? What if Dad's health really does suffer? At sunrise, I make my decision. The gathering at my parents' house that weekend pulses with tension. I arrive with Rebecca beside me, her quiet presence strengthening my resolve. Ethan and his parents sit uncomfortably on the sofa. Maddie glares from an armchair, while Nancy fusses with a tea service no one wants. I place my binder on the coffee table. I've invited everyone here because we need clarity. I begin. This binder contains every expense I've covered for Maddie's wedding. The total is $185,000. Dad's face drains of color as he flips through the pages. This can't be right. It is, I say. I've highlighted Maddie's texts, asking for each payment. Nancy reaches for the binder. Allison, this is unnecessary. It's absolutely necessary, Barbara, Ethan's mother, interjects. We were told the expenses were being shared equally. We were also told the situation would change. However, this is a completely another story. I lay out the 2 options I've prepared. Maddie can either have a scaled-down wedding she pays for herself, or no wedding and a clean financial break. Either way, I'm done. You can't dictate terms, Nancy protests. I can when it's my money. Ethan clears his throat. I can't build a marriage on dishonesty. He turns to Maddie. You told me your parents were covering everything. You told my parents Allison was being reimbursed. You also told me to give you another chance, as this was a huge misunderstanding. I can't believe I actually trusted you again. Barbara nods, disappointment etched across her face. We never would have agreed to such extravagance, especially when it's draining your family member financially. The room falls silent as the truth settles. Dad looks up from the financial records, his expression stunned. Maddie, you need to apologize to your sister. Maddie springs to her feet. None of you understand what I deserve. What we deserve and what we earn are different, I reply, my voice steady despite my racing heart. Ethan reaches into his pocket, places the diamond ring on the table. The sound it makes against the wood resonates through the room. I'm no longer financing anyone else's life, I announce, standing. Rebecca follows me to the door. Behind us, Maddie's angry sobs fill the air, but for once, they aren't my problem to fix. 2 weeks later, an envelope arrives in my mailbox. Inside, a simple card with Ethan's handwriting. Coffee? There's something I need to tell you. At the bottom, a simple signature. With gratitude for your honesty. I tuck the card into my pocket, surprised to find myself smiling. Morning sunlight streams through floor-to-ceiling windows, painting golden rectangles across my hardwood floors. From my new downtown Denver apartment, the Rocky Mountains rise like guardians on the horizon. I sip coffee from a mug that reads, My money, my choice, a gift from Rebecca after I signed the lease. 3 months ago, I couldn't imagine this view, this freedom, this lightness in my chest where a boulder of obligation once Saturday. On my refrigerator, postcards from Maine's coastal towns create a collage of memories from my first solo vacation. Rockland, Camden, Portland, places where nobody expected anything from me except the occasional dinner tip. I touch the edge of my favorite, a lighthouse at dawn, standing firm against crashing waves. My phone chimes with a notification. My savings app congratulates me on reaching another milestone toward retirement. A small victory, but each dollar represents a choice to value my future. Allison Ward? My new boss's voice had risen with surprise last month. The quarterly analysis was exceptional. We'd like to offer you the senior management position. The promotion certificate now hangs beside my accounting degree, both framed in simple black. The phone rings. My cousin's daughter, Katie. I'm applying for student loans, she explains, voice tentative. Mom said you might have advice about financial planning for college? Not money, she adds quickly. Just guidance. Something warm unfolds in my chest. I'd love to help you research options. What about coffee this weekend? That would be amazing, Katie says. I want to do this right, on my own. After we hang up, I wrap a financial planning book in simple brown paper, adding a note. Earn your own dreams. Teaching independence, rather than enabling dependence. A different kind of generosity. Later, I stroll through Cherry Creek Mall, shopping bags swinging from my wrist. professional clothes for my new position, tailored slacks, blouses in colors I actually enjoy. No more fading into backgrounds. When I pass Diamond Bridal, I pause. Through plate glass windows, I see a young woman twirling in white satin, mother dabbing tears. The phantom sting of Maddie's slap tingles briefly across my cheek, then fades. A sales associate exits, recognition flickering in her eyes. "You look well," she offers cautiously. I smile, a real smile that reaches my eyes. "I am well, thank you." That evening, I open my leather-bound journal, a therapy homework assignment that became a ritual. I mistook sacrifice for love. I write, "I believed that shrinking myself would make others stand taller. I was wrong." My phone buzzes with a text from Rebecca. "Wine tonight? Celebrating your 90 days of freedom." Over glasses of Cabernet at her kitchen table, I confess, I've realized boundaries aren't selfish, they're necessary. Rebecca nods. "Your boundaries actually gave Maddie a chance to grow up. Too bad she hasn't taken it yet," I reply without bitterness. "Dad called last week, his voice stronger than it's been in years. We talked about his medication, his new heart-healthy diet, and remarkably his finances. No guilt, just facts and plans." "I'm proud of you, Allie," he said before hanging up. Progress. At work, Jennifer, a new hire, slumps at her desk during lunch. I recognize the sloped shoulders, the worry lines between her brows. "My brother's wedding," she explains when I ask what's wrong. "They want me to cover the rehearsal dinner. It's $5,000 I don't have." I pull up a chair. "Your financial peace matters, Jennifer." Relief floods her face. "I thought I was being selfish." "Taking care of yourself isn't selfish," I tell her, sharing resources that helped me. "It's necessary." The coffee shop where Ethan suggested we meet feels like a place from another life. He looks different, lighter somehow. "I'm engaged again," he says. "A smaller wedding, equal contributions from both families." "I'm happy for you," I say, meaning it. "Your honesty saved me from a mistake," he admits. "Thank you." That evening, I stand on my balcony as sunset bathes Denver in amber light. My phone chimes with a text from Maddie. "Can we talk someday?" I consider the message, watching the mountains turn purple against the darkening sky. No immediate reaction, no rush to fix or save or rescue. "When you're ready for honest conversation, I'll be here," I type, then place my phone face down. The sunset paints the city gold. My city. My life. My choices. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give yourself isn't wealth or achievement, but simply the courage to say enough. And in that quiet word, I found my voice.